What up, farm? How you going? So we have brought the offset disc back from out north. It was sitting out there from the last job. It was also on fire patrol in case we had a fire out there. But anyway, we got some work to do to it, so we brought it back. These front discs, as you can see, they're fairly worn down. They're a fair bit smaller than what they were. We've got some new discs. We're going to start putting them on. As you can see, I've already taken some bolts out of these front gangs. So we're just about to lift the whole disc up and drop these front gangs out and then start changing over. I guess you say that was the easy part, because now we've got to take these big nuts off and deconstruct the whole gangs. Alright, we got one gang all pulled apart. Now I'm just going to go and grab the tractor and pick up the new discs. Alright, so I got another gang of discs off. You can see all the lines that they pulled off in. We've just knocked the bearing sleeves out, but what I've found is some cracks. You see, might be able to see there's a crack in there somewhere. This arm is really barely hanging on. Same with this one, it's got a couple of cracks up here. Probably you won't be able to see them, but anyway, we're going to fold it up while there's no discs on it and take it into the welder and weld it up. There we go, got it sorted. What do you reckon, Alex? Right, so you'll be able to see where I've ground up the crack there. There's another bit over here. Yeah, got the welder out, got a glove on. Let's have a go. I better not forget to weld up that one in there. Can't grind it, but see how we go. We'll have a crack and see if we can stick it back together. Well, for someone who doesn't weld upside down very often, that went surprisingly well.
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headache stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need.
Got it folded back out. It's time to put all these new discs on now. The rebuilding process begins. Right, we're going to start off with this one, which is the one that's closer to the middle. I'm pretty sure I know how to do it. I'll put you on a time lapse though, might be a bit of mucking around. There we go, that's one gang back together. Tell you what, they didn't look much bigger than the old discs sitting there, but they look a fair bit more aggressive anyway. Alright, what up farm? We're back here for another day. Yesterday was a bit of a mixed up day. I had a Zoom call for my grain growers social leadership program. And then we had some visitors out to the farm. Some friends had some family down from Queensland and they wanted to check out a farm down here. So we had them out, showed them around. But anyway, this morning we got back working on the disc. We've got 2 gangs back on there. And sitting together, the new discs didn't look, they look bigger than the old disc, but not super bigger. But on the machine, I can tell you what, they are quite a bit bigger. Yeah, she's gonna cut all right. It's gonna cut a fair bit deeper. I'm keen to give it a go actually. Now we're gonna take out these center gangs of discs and we'll work on changing them over. So we just pulled this first gang apart, and the axle that went through the middle of it all is bent. So Dad's gone to town to get one of the engineers to straighten it. Yeah, I'm gonna roll this other gang out and pull it all apart. Alright, so how these work is there's a square axle that runs in the middle. You can see the discs have a square hole in them. They all just slot together. The spacers have square holes in them, but the bearings have a round sleeve that goes through the bearing like that, and the square axle goes in the middle here. This one, don't know why, is loose and didn't need punching out. But there are 4 others that do need punching out. So we're gonna go and get them out. Alright, so as per usual, when the going got tough, I stopped the GoPro. So it wasn't that tough. It was just challenging and took some figuring out with these center gangs. They're just very hard to maneuver in and out. So I didn't have the GoPro on, but we got the old ones out and we got the new ones in. And I tell you what, they look pretty mean compared to the old disc. Yeah, 2 more gangs left to go on this side, and then the front will be done. And we're probably not going to do the back.
In a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race, every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way. Had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place, see. Cause everybody wanna tell you bad things, what could go wrong, what fame brings, but success is a finicky thing, and if you ain't sure, no, it'll never be.
Alright, that's one gang back together. It's warm. I've had enough for today, so I'm gonna knock off. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Alright, we're back for another day. We're gonna put this gang back on there. Alright, so Dad just lifted the disc up and rolled this one in. Now he's just letting it down into the right place so we can put the bolts in. Down a bit more. Yeah, that'll do actually. See if we can get this one in. We got a couple of bolts in. We'll get him to lift it up. We should be able to put the rest in. Keep going up. Here we go. Looks to be holding all right. Cool. So we got them both hanging on there. I've been through and tightened up some of the bolts. Just thought I'd show you this. I've never used this before, but remembered seeing it in the shed, so I got it out and had a go. It's an air-powered ratchet. Yeah, like I said, I never used one before, but got it out because the impact wrenches won't fit in here. But it's pretty cool. Makes a cool noise. Alright, so I've just been through and tightened them all up by hand just to make sure all these bolts are tight. Now you'll see all these things on the ground. I'll show you on the back. Those are the mud scrapers. These things, you can see that bar across the back there. What happens in really muddy conditions, it builds up like this, and the mud scrapers just peel it off to stop it blocking up, because if you don't have them there, believe it or not, that hole between this, the back of this disc, the front of this disc, can just plug up with mud, and you end up with some kind of a mud roller that doesn't do its job properly. But anyway, we pulled them off because it's a lot easier to roll the discs in, roll the gangs of discs in without them on there. So now we're going to put them back on. Alright, all the discs are on the front, the mud scrapers are all back on the back. I just picked up my rubbish and put my nut back on the top. We're not going to be replacing the back discs because they're actually still quite big. They're a fair bit bigger than the front discs. That is because the front discs do most of the digging. They're going through the dirt first, they're cutting up all of the hard dirt, and the back one's just picking up what the front one's missed. So they're not doing as much work. They don't wear out as quick. So we're just gonna leave them on there. We won't need to put these discs on. They can stay in the shed. And when we decide to replace them all, they'll be there ready for us. Right, so we got everything tightened up on the disc, folded the disc up and took it out there. Now we're just picking up the old discs, and I can't get the pallet forks to move in, and I should have put these on a pallet, but I'm just trying a cheats way to see if I don't have to pick them all up again, because I really don't want to do that. So anyway, what I've got here is some string that came off a hay bale. So this is recycling. I'm going to put it down through the hole and see if the good old baling twine can pick these discs up.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way. Had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place, see. Cause everybody wanna tell you bad things, what could go wrong, what fame brings. But success is a finicky thing, and if you ain't sure, no, it'll never be.
So that is 4 strands of baling twine. I may have just wasted 12 minutes of my life, or I might have saved quite a lot of physical labour. Anyway, we'll pick it up and see what happens. Well, my camera stopped recording, but it picked it up and it carried it. I wouldn't have wanted to go much further. It's done its job, just. There we go.
I don't have to plan it, I can go change my fate. You won't understand it, all alone, that's okay.